What is going on, guys? The Inside the Boot podcast, and today we have a mock draft. Back with our mock drafts. Like I said, the goal is to make these every Monday. Obviously, it's a fun Friday, so I got a fun Friday mock draft for the New York Football Giants, the team that we primarily cover for the team, and a lot of rumbling things have happened. If you check out our last video, you know the Giants are in love with Shedeur Sanders. Joe Shane loves him as a prospect. He loves how he evaluates himself. Everything like that. And the other quarterback that they started to love was Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. Eli Manning, who's been helping the Giants with their quarterback process, does like Jackson Dart. Think he could be a good quarterback for the New York Giants in New York, even though it's a tough business and tough everything. Jackson Dart said that he could roll with it. So the Titans are on the clock. Giants pick at number 3, Browns at number 2. And with this, I think with the Giants, you're hoping to land one of Travis Hunter or Shedeur Sanders. You know that the Titans have came out and said, we want a generational player and we think we can get one at pick number 1. And I don't know if that's quarterback because I think Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter are more generational than Shedeur and Cam Ward. And for the Browns, they have a lot of issues. They need tackles. They need a quarterback. They need everything. So I think even in real life, I can maybe see a trade back with the Cleveland Browns. Unless Travis Hunter falls to them, then they're going to snag him right away. But let's see what this draft is. Enough of me talking. And yeah, so here's the situation that the Giants kind of fall themselves into. And that's Travis Hunter falling to them at pick number 3, along with Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, and Will Johnson are really the main 4 that the Giants would have heavy consideration. They're not going to take a wide receiver at pick number 3. They're not going to take a running back at pick number 5. We know the issue they had when they drafted Saquon Barkley with a team that didn't have much around them. So they're not going to go running back. They could opt for maybe a tackle, but I think if they do go Will Campbell, I could see a trade back. But really the offensive line needs guard help, and left guard, right guard is mainly the issue. So I'm not going to take much time. Travis Hunter is the obvious pick at number 3, and I think that could be a realistic situation with the team and with the Giants because both teams need a quarterback. That is true. And I think for the New York Giants, they need a lot. And getting Travis Hunter, who can play cornerback at an elite rate, you could put him at offense too for a few plays, so that's cool. So I think with that, you could have a really solid start to your draft at snagging pick number 3 and landing Travis Hunter. I think for my next pick, I think I'm in between a few players here. And mainly that's Tyler Booker at guard for the Giants and TJ Sanders out of South Carolina, a beast of a player. And I think if you upgrade the defensive line, it could be really good. You could also look at cornerback. And I think with the cornerback situation, they just hired a new defensive back coach, Marquand Manuel from the Jets. And I think that's huge because we said in the last video that Deonte Banks needs to get better. Because you don't want to keep making this same mistake over and over again of, trading up for a cornerback and not being good. You don't want to have that situation pour again. You can go with Shavon Ravel at East Carolina. I think the ideal pick here would be offensive line. I think. At least in my opinion. But I do like TJ Sanders a lot as a prospect. I think he could really go either way. I'm gonna take the offensive guard Tyler Booker. I don't think realistically he does fall to the second round. I think in real life someone snags him. But regardless, we find him at the second round. And I know a lot of people are interested in taking Jackson Dart. And so am I. I mean, you look at the numbers throughout his career at Ole Miss, they get better. He threw for 4,276 yards in 2024. had 29 passing touchdowns, had 6 interceptions, and a passing rating grade of 122. That's really good. Everything has gotten better through development. 13 games played in all of them, 93 PFF grade. And I think the Giants need a quarterback. I think this is the ideal pick. I don't think he falls to the third round realistically. The way that I view it, I view Jackson Dart as a late first rounder, early second rounder, in my opinion, for my board at least. And he's definitely on there. Definitely in the top 5 in my opinion. And I think just with the New York Giants, they got to find a quarterback. And obviously he's still here. Obviously PFF probably gives you a low grade because he is the QB3. But I think if the Giants love him enough and the hype is real with what Eli Manning said and maybe a few scouts, I think we could definitely see a scenario where Jackson Dart does become a New York Giant and becomes the next franchise quarterback. And I think he does fit into a really solid up-and-coming situation with Brian Dable as your head coach, who is an offensive-minded dude. You got Tyron Tracy, who had a good rookie year. You got Malik Neighbors. I think Theo Johnson could be good run after catch, and I think if he fixes his catching issues, he could be a good tight end in the NFL. And for the offensive line, you just need guard help. I think Illuminor at right tackle. I think you get a new right guard. I think Greg Van Roten was a good signing and a good, I think he'd be good depth if you do want to bring him back on a 1-year contract. JMS is your rookie, center that you drafted, who's now in his 3rd year. I believe he's in his 3rd year. I'd have to double check that. But yeah, I mean, with JMS, he's got to get better. And I think with your left guard, with John Runyon, it was not a very good signing. It felt like more of a panic signing. And then left tackle is Andrew Thomas. But we're going to take Jackson Dart in the 3rd round because his team needs a quarterback. And we'll see how... Let's see how the first round is, too, because we didn't really look at the first round of who went where Ashton Genty went, and everything. So, yeah, there's the F grade for us. They actually gave us a D for Tyler Booker as well. I think Tyler Booker is good. Kind of a lot of a reach. A lot of these picks were a reach. But, we'll see what, entails. Let's look at the first round, though, of all these players. And so Abdul Carter goes right after us to the Patriots. Mason Graham goes number 6 to the... never mind. So there goes that. Jets go with the Georgia Starks. Will Campo goes to the Panthers. Will Johnson goes to the Saints. Just looking at some other big names. Of course, Tyler Warren, a big offensive weapon who had a great year out of Penn State. He goes to the Dolphins. Ashton Genty falls all the way down to 14. The Dallas Cowboys don't snag him. And he goes to the Colts. Kelvin Banks Jr. goes to the Cardinals. Egbuka gets another weapon for Joe Burrow. So, I mean, in that sense... If they did decide to move on from T. Higgins, Egbuka's a solid replacement. Three straight Ohio State guys go in a row. Josh Simmons goes to the Seattle Seahawks, and Jack Sawyer, the edge rusher who had a really solid year, goes to the Buccaneers. And yeah, that's pretty much the first round. So yeah, getting back to our picks. Of course, PFF does not give us a great grade for Jackson Dart. I expected that. But if the Giants are locked in on Jackson Dart, and he does fall in the later round, and the hype isn't actually there, but they still think they have a chance, maybe they do snag Jackson Dart as their future quarterback. I think he looked great at the Senior Bowl. He was definitely the best quarterback out of all of them. When you're talking about Jalen Milroe, when you're talking about Riley Leonard, Dylan Gabriel, all of those guys. But a really solid draft in my opinion. I think this would be a good draft for the New York Giants. Tyler Booker's a good guard in my opinion. I know they gave him a D grade, but honestly, sometimes PFF is wrong about these players. And the Giants need guard help, and I think their main three things to upgrade. In my opinion, of course, quarterback is your number one option because you currently have Tommy DeVito as your QB1. I think at second, it's definitely upgrading this cornerback group. I think you could, and an offensive line is right there at 3, and then an honorable mention, honestly, is upgrading this wide receiver core. I think outside of Malik Neighbors, you don't have enough explosiveness. I know you need that out of Wanda Robinson. I don't think I see that enough. Darius Slayton's a pending free agent. They had Isaiah Hodgins forever, but that his peak was 2022. So it's going to be an interesting offseason for the New York Giants. Of course, we're going to cover it all at the Inside the Boot podcast. But that's going to wrap it up for our mock draft. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the draft. You can bash me in the comments if you think it's bad or praise. But of course, on the road to 300 subs, on the road, join the movement, join the brand, and of course, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.